Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and today we're gonna get back on the Snake, the 1977 International Scout that is getting an LS 53 6L80, new transfer case, new full interior, all that stuff. So if you haven't watched the last two videos on the Scout, go back and check those out. But today, we're gonna set the motor and tranny in there for the first time, right after I strip it down and clean it all up. So, I'm not gonna strip it all the way down because I don't need to. I'm just gonna pull everything off of it that we're not gonna use, clean it up the best that I can, and then we're gonna stab it right in the Scout without taking the trans off of it, without taking the accessories off of it, nothing. Just set it right in there. And to do that, which I'll show you more in a little bit, we ordered, the owner of the Scout ordered a kit from Anything Scout, Everything Scout, something like that. I'll let you know in a minute. I'll walk over there and see. Anyways, we got a kit. I better go check and see who makes it. I'm gonna feel bad if I say it wrong. Yeah, Anything Scout. It's an LS swap kit, and it comes with, I've looked through all the parts already, but it comes with really nice brackets to mount on the frame for the motor mounts. Comes with a really nice welded transmission cross member, and just about, from what I can see, just about everything you need to put that motor and trans in that truck. So, yeah, I normally make everything myself. I don't usually get kits, but there was a kit available, and my buddy was willing to get the kit, so I'm like, what the heck, let's do it. And so that's it. And why I got your attention and we're talking, we're doing another t-shirt giveaway. The way you can win a t-shirt is if you are subscribed to the channel and you leave a comment on this video. Now, at the end of this video, I'll announce the t-shirt winner from the last video, and then we'll do another t-shirt giveaway on this video. And like I said, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, leave a comment. I mean, if you really want to, while you're there, go ahead and hit the like button. That'll help me out too. Trying to grow the channel, trying to get comments and likes, make YouTube share my videos more. So that's what we're trying to do. Now, if you leave a comment in this video, every comment up until I post the next video is eligible for a t-shirt from this video. If you have already won a t-shirt in this giveaway that I've been doing, and your name gets pulled again, I'll send you out a sticker pack and give you something just so you still have something you can win, rather than just saying, well, I can't win anything, I'm not doing it anymore. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna get back over there and get to work on that motor. All right, I went ahead and took a blow nozzle and blew everything off really good, just to get all the dust and whatever off of it before I start messing with it. And the intake is still unbolted from when I took it out, so we'll be able to pull that off, but I'm not in a big hurry to do that. Right now I'm going to get these hoses off, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my coil rails off, my coil packs, because I don't want to take any chances of them getting mixed up. Not mixed up, but damaged. Don't want to take any chances of them being damaged. So we'll have to go get a wrench for that. Anyways, we'll go ahead and take the coil packs off, and that way there's no chance of them getting damaged. We put them in a safe spot in there. Yeah. I noticed there's a little breeze. Hopefully it's not blowing on the microphone and screwing the sound up real bad. But if it is, I apologize. If you've done anything with LS motors or Vortec, and you know what I'm talking about, LS platform motors, you know that they're notorious for breaking off exhaust manifold bolts, and that they aren't always easy to get out without breaking them off. Well, I haven't started yet. I was gonna film it for you guys because I'll show you how I do it. But I went ahead and took the heat shields off both sides, and as you can see, this front bolt right here is already broken off. Now, does that mean somebody's tried to take that bolt off before? Not necessarily. Sometimes the exhaust manifolds get hot and the heads get hot and things move and they just pop the bolt off. So they try to warp and whatever else and pop it off. But anyways, we still got 5 more bolts to take off on this side, 6 on the other side. So I'm gonna get my stuff that I use to do this and set the other camera up right here so you can watch what I'm doing. Now, I'm not saying it's the wrong way, but I will say I never use an impact on LS exhaust manifold bolts. Is it more likely that the bolts are going to break if you use an impact? No. Is it less likely the bolts are going to break if you use an impact? I can't say that for sure either, but I know that when I have the feel and I'm doing it by hand, I usually have a lot better luck than if I just zap them with an impact. So I'll get all set up, I'll show you how I do it, and we'll see if we can't get the 11 bolts out without breaking anymore. Alright, so I'm not telling you guys this is the right way to do it or this is the way it has to be done or anything else. I can tell you I've had a lot better experience getting these bolts out when the motor's warm. Like if you just run it and it's still warm and you go take the bolts out, I've had better luck. So since I can't exactly run it and warm it up, I guess, you know, there's no other way that I can warm it up, so I don't know what I'm gonna do, but regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some heat on these. Alright, now I got some heat in them. I'm going to go ahead and take some penetrant. Doesn't matter what kind you use. I like Croyle, I like PB Blaster, it don't matter. I'm not sponsored by nobody. So go ahead and make that. Soak it down. And I'm not saying that the heat should kind of help make them looser, but the heat will also pull the penetrant in. So that's a big part of heating it up, is getting it to pull the penetrant in. So we know I got it warm enough because it's smoking. So now we got all that done. I'll let it sit there for a minute. Oh, I definitely got plenty of heat in it. The top of the valve cover's hot. So, and then what I'm going to do is put the right socket on. And then I'm not going to loosen it first. I'm going to tighten it. And I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I got a real small turn out of that tightening it. And then I'm going to go back loose. And I'm just going to go slow and steady. Now, Another part of the reason I said I always do this by hand, because every once in a while you'll get one that you're backing out. It'll come out 2 or 3 turns and just lock up. And then it ain't moving no more. And if you do it by hand, you can go back and try to work it in and work it out and back and forth and whatnot and get it to come free and get it out. Now if you're on an impact hammering on that thing and it comes out a couple threads and then decides to stop, boop, broke off. So to each their own, however you want to do it. I'm just trying to show you the way I do it that I have good success with, and hopefully it'll help somebody out. Alright, got those 5 off without breaking any more. I got that one there that's broke, and so I'll have to get that extracted. I'll show you guys how to do that here in a few minutes. First, I'm going to go over on the other side and see if I can get those off, and I'm not going to film it all. I just showed you the process on this side. I'm going to go over to the other side, try to get that manifold off, see how it goes, and then if I break one, I'll take you over there and show you I broke it. If not, we'll come back and we'll start working on pulling this busted stud out of here. Alright, I got them all 6 off on the other side without breaking any, luckily. So now we're going to go back and try to get this one out. I got a center punch. I'm going to try to get centered on the hole or on the bolt as good as I can. It looks pretty good. I'm going to take a drill and try to go in as straight as I can. Well, I'm not getting it very straight. I'm not into the threads or anything yet, but I don't want to get into them either, so I don't really want to put heat in it. Well, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. I'm gonna see if we can get it loosened up, see what happens. Ta-da! Got it. Run another bolt in there, make sure the hole's clean. Threads are good, all that jazz. Oh yeah, good to go. Alright, we got it. So I spent all morning got in the interior of Shorty over there and doing some stuff like that, and it's now getting late in the day and I'm getting tired. So got this stripped down pretty much as far as we want to take it. I need to clean it up, see how good a job I can do cleaning it up, make it look halfway decent, and then we'll be ready to set this sucker in the snake and see how it looks. Alright, we're back out here on the Scout. I got it pushed out here where I can cut and grind on it and stuff without making the shop filthy. I was gonna try to leave this front bumper on because it's welded on, but the body shop that it's going to get the body work done said that they needed it off to do their job. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, and then once it gets body worked and all that stuff and comes back, then we'll remount it and we'll do it to where it's bolted on and it can come on and off on its own, which will be a lot nicer down the road if he ever needs to pull it off. So I got it hanging from the cherry picker because my King Kong strength retired a few years ago, and I'm not trying to hold this bumper with this winch on it and cut it at the same time. So we got it hanging. I'm gonna drag the torch out here. I gotta cut it right here. It's welded across here, and then same spot on the other side. And that appears to be everywhere that it's welded. So I'll get that zipped through, get it hung on the cherry picker, we'll get it moved out of the way. And then I gotta get in here and I gotta cut the exhaust off and get it out of the way. And then I'll bring you guys in and I'll start showing you what we have to do to make the engine mounts from anything Scout. Or I really got to pay attention. I keep forgetting if it's anything Scout or everything Scout. Either way, it's all about the Scout. They make a cool kit. I'm gonna start putting that in, but I'm gonna cut that bumper off. I'm gonna get that exhaust out of the way, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, I got the bumper trimmed off, and I already have a plan for how I'm gonna reattach it when it comes time to put it back on. But for right now, it's off and it's gonna be out of everybody's way. I'll clean up the slag where I welded on it or where I cut on it later on, but it's fine for right this second. I got the exhaust. The exhaust is still under there, but I cut it way back to where it's not gonna be in my way at all doing any of this. And so now we're on to getting our motor mounts in to set our motor in. And the first step that they say to do is make a cut right here, make a cut right here, make a cut right here, and then take vice grips and wiggle till the welds break off. I'm gonna do it that way because that's the way that their instructions say to do it. And if anybody tries to watch this video to do the install, or if anybody buys their kit because of this video and knows how to do it because I showed you, I want to do it the way they recommend to do it so that it's right, I guess you could say. And then I'm going to go ahead, it's got a pivot ball for a clutch back there. I think that's what that is. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off too because we don't need it for anything, and it'll just clean the frame up a little bit. So I'll get that off. And then here's our motor mounts. Very, very nice quality stuff. Welds are beautiful. Nice stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the old motor mounts cut off the frame the way they're supposed to be off. And then we'll grind that all down, and then I'll bring you guys back. And well, I'm gonna show you doing that, but then we'll come back to the mounts and I'll show you how they say to put those in. Okay, so like I said, according to their instructions, I say to cut it here and here. Obviously we'll do both sides and then we'll break it off. Alright, got the cuts made. Now let's see how the process of breaking this stuff off goes. Wow. That was definitely a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, and it kind of makes me nervous it had that big heavy motor in here. Yeah, that's way too easy to get a motor mount broke off. Now this up here may not come off that easy, and I may have to cut it off because somebody's put this reinforcement for the steering box mount on here, which it's got decent welds. It looks alright. I'm probably gonna, they didn't weld it down here, probably gonna clean it up and put a couple more beads on it, and I'll cut this down so it follows the frame, and put a bead on that too, just for looks. I mean, it should be plenty strong, but we can definitely make it look a little better. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut that off. So like I said, the instructions say to cut those on the top, wiggle them off with the vice grips, and that works good, except for when other things are modified. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this last ear off. I'm going to go ahead and trim this so it follows the frame and looks better. And then I'm going to get my grinding disc out, and I'm going to grind all this down smooth, because that's what the instructions say to do, and need to anyways, make it look better. But we'll get that all ground down. I'll get this all fixed up. I'll bring you guys back, show you what it looks like, and then we'll get the motor mount set in place. Alright, so I already showed you guys these really nice pieces. Right down here we've got our bump stop, or what's supposed to be the bump stop. They're kind of seen better days. Oh, that one's there, but it says slide these on back here and push them up till they hit the bump stop, which that's doing. Make sure they're flat and even against the frame, which they are. And then, this isn't in the instructions, but common sense tells me to do it. I'm going to go ahead and mark around this. And then I'm going to come back in with my grinder and clean the frame off where I marked that, and then I'll set this back on there. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one on the other side, and then I'll get the welder out and get it ready, and I'll come and weld those in, and I'll weld the this brace over here that you can't see right now for the steering box that I already showed you. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other side marked just like I marked this side. I still got my grinder sitting here. I'll go ahead and clean that up so I got good clean material to weld to. I'm going to clean this up because even though it looks nice and clean and good, it still has mill scale on it, which they welded through when they welded it. But I want it to be nice and clean to get a good weld, so I'm going to go ahead and take and clean it up a little bit, and then we'll get those welded on. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to get her done. I may have skipped ahead a little bit too much. I might have put too much weld on there because it says slide them all the way forward till they hit the bump stops, make sure they're level and even and all that, but then it says to measure from the front of the frame back, to make sure it's the same distance on both sides, and I haven't done that yet, and I already put quite a bit of weld on them. But I'm gonna go grab a tape measure and measure that up, and just eyeballing it, it appears to be good, but we'll measure it just to make sure, because I don't want to be fighting when I'm trying to get this motor in. So we'll measure real quick. Everything looks good. We'll finish welding it all up. Alright, I got my tape measure. We're gonna go like this. I've got about 23.5. Come over here, and I've got 23.5. So they're right there where they need to be. So I'm gonna get gloved back up, climb back in there, and do a bunch of welding on that. And once we get that welded in, then we're ready to start cleaning the frame up to paint it. So here we go. Okay, I got that plate somebody had put in here all welded up and good, and I got our motor mounts all welded up and good, and I'm pretty proud of those welds. They look pretty darn good. But motor mounts are in, double checked all the measurements come out right. Now I'm going to clean up the frame and paint it. And I have to go down and cut the tranny crossmember mounts off the frame, because it comes with another tranny crossmember. So I got to go under there, cut those off, but I can't put the tranny crossmember in yet, because they say the tranny crossmember depends on your motor and trans and all that, obviously. So it doesn't necessarily say to do it this way, but what I'm going to do is bolt my motor in, put a jack underneath the trans. I'll lift it up there, find out exactly where I need that to be, and then I will weld it in place with the motor and trans in there. Or if I have to pull it back out real quick to do it, that's fine too. But yeah, I'm just going to put the motor and trans in, and then once I have the motor and trans set in there and sitting how we want them, then I will weld in our cross member and we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna clean this up real quick, get some paint on it, and then I'll bring you guys back. There's a couple things that we have to do to the motor before we set it in. So I'll just clean that up and paint it real quick, and while that's drying, I'll bring you guys back. We'll do the other stuff, and then we'll get the motor set in. All right, well, I know I said that I was going to clean up the frame and paint it and then set the motor and trans in, but I'm not going to do that. I started cleaning up the frame, got to thinking about it, and I changed my mind, because the new transmission cross member is a weld in, so I'm going to have to grind and weld on the frame to weld, to do that. So if I do that, I'm getting the frame hot. It's going to ruin the paint and all that and whatnot. So I'm going to put the motor together, set the motor and trans in, get the tranny cross member all installed the way it's supposed to be, and then make sure everything's good and everything's right, and see how everything's going to go and all that kind of stuff. And then we can pull the motor back out, clean everything, paint it all at one time. Shouldn't be a big deal, because I'm not gonna go and hook up exhaust and all that other crap. I'm just gonna set the motor and trans in, make sure everything looks good, everything fits, and get the tranny cross member done. And then we can just, undo the motor mounts and the tranny mount and pull it back out. So I did get all the old tranny crossmember bracket mounts, whatever, off of the frame rail and got those ground down. So they're out of the way now. I have some things I need to do to the motor. They say to put the block side motor mount plates and the rubber mounts on the motor, and then put the headers on, and then install the motor, because if you don't do that in that sequence, you'll never get it together in the truck. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to get all the motor mount parts, I'm going to get the headers, I'm going to get all that stuff. We're going to get it all bolted on, and we're going to get it set in the truck, and then all the other stuff that we already talked about. I'm not going to repeat it again. So here we go. All right, so here we go. First thing we got to do, put our engine side mounts on. Once again, these need to be painted too. Motor still needs to be cleaned up. I'll get to all that when we pull it back out. I usually only do stuff once, but I'm just thinking with the tranny cross member needing to be fabbed on and all that kind of stuff, that this is just the best deal, and we can take this back out and clean it all up and put it back in later. So that's what we're gonna do, because it seems like the right thing this time. Get these put on. If I'm a little off or out of it or anything for the remainder of this video, there's a heat index at 114 today, and I've been out in the sun hauling cars out of the woods all day. It's already 2:30 in the afternoon before I even got started on anything, so I'm a little bit spent, but I want to get some work done today also, so here we are. Alright, that is on. Now it says we need to put the other side of the motor mount, or the absorber part of the motor mount on as well. So that's going to go like so. Alrighty. And then we have headers, came in the kit. They appear to be stainless. That's what I'm going to go with. See if I'm going to be able to put these on, right on, or if I'm going to have to take the, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to take the dipstick off. And I got to go get a socket for that, so give me a minute, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Okay, get that off. Need some header bolts. Should be enough. Guess according to them, all this stuff's really tight. You have to do it in this order, and they said you definitely want to do it before you put it in the scout. So that's what they said, that's what we'll do. Obviously, before this becomes permanent in the truck, we'll do spark plugs and wires and tune up and all that kind of stuff. We're not just going to stuff it in there with the old crap, but for now, it's all mock-up. They weren't joking about this all being a tight fit. You definitely ain't getting that motor mount bolt out with the header on. In other words, you ever want to change the motor mount in this thing, you might as well just pull the motor back out. Alright, I gotta go over and do the same thing on the other side. And I guess even though I'm gonna have to pull it back off again, I'll go ahead and put the dipstick back in, just because. Alright, got that back in like I started to say. I gotta go do the same thing on the other side. We'll put the motor mount on, we'll put all that on, put the header on. And then over on the other side, I'll bring you guys back and show you where the oil cooler lines used to go. There's now a block off plate that goes on there that gives you provisions for an oil pressure gauge. So whoop, I'm gonna go snap my fingers and that side will be done for you guys, and then I'll show you the oil pressure gauge deal, and then we'll be ready to stab this thing in that Scout. Alright, well, I know this is kind of long distance and you can't see the best, but I can't get you much closer or I'm not going to have any room to do it. So down here there's this oval shaped provision on the side of the oil pan, and it had a big old block with two lines that ran to the oil cooler. Well, we're not going to run an oil cooler on this like this had, and the kit comes with this block off plate that's threaded, has a 90, and then it's got like a traditional oil pressure sending unit that screws into it, and then you can still run the factory gauges. So it goes on there, it's got an O-ring, comes with new bolts. I'm not going to I don't believe I'll have to take this back off. So I'm going to go ahead and put Loctite on it because I'm not a huge fan of these little Allen screws and I don't want it to wiggle loose. So I probably could have read the directions and see what they said to do, but I just looked at the picture and said, oh, I can figure that out. So I guess I'll put it on so their logo's facing the right way. And this blue 90's not screwed in here correctly. I just put it on there just because it still needs to be Teflon taped or something and properly installed. It is not right now. So my main concern was just covering up these holes. So I didn't bring a ratchet out here with me, so I got to go get a ratchet, snug those down, and then the next thing you see will be the cherry picker picking this thing up and setting it in the Scout over there. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, we're ready to start picking this thing up and setting it in there. Kind of got the cherry picker way at the back of the motor on my chain because it might help me out with the Tranny crossmember once I get in there. I guess I haven't gotten all the coolant out yet. You guys would probably be able to see this a lot better if you were taller. Let me see if I can get you a little stool to stand on. Hey, There you go. That's a little better now, ain't it? Alright, now maybe we can get somewhere. Hopefully that's far enough. I don't know. I didn't take any measurements. I don't know if the motor is going to fit between the opening there or not. Guess we'll find out in a second. I think I'm going to have to set this down. Maybe hang it a little bit more back heavy. Take it easy. There we go. Now you guys can see what's going on. Alright. Okay. I got this side somewhat to where I can put at least 2 of the motor mount pad bolts in. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done real quick, and then we should be able to adjust it to where we can set the other side down too. And then I think rather than putting the transmission on a jack like I was going to do, I think I'll just leave it hanging from the cherry picker and see how it does. But I guess we'll kind of figure it out as we go. I'm going to go grab the bolts and get a couple bolts started in this motor mount. I apologize, but I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to show you guys what I'm doing over here, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to do it on the wheel myself. Okay. Once again, guys, I'll show you what I'm doing when I get it done, but I can't really show you why I'm doing it. Okay, motor set in, motor mount bolts are installed and snugged up for now. Like I said, I didn't put a crank on them or nothing because I have to come back out. Same thing with this side. So motor's in there. It's still hanging on the cherry picker, obviously, because the tranny's pulling down in the back, but it's mounted in the front. So next thing we're going to do, this is the tranny cross member that comes in the kit, and you can opt for a bolt-on one or a weld-on one. Obviously we went for the weld on. It comes with a new tranny mount, which I am going to use, but it's identical to the factory one, and the factory one is still bolted on the transmission, so I'm going to leave it in there for now. And these are the tabs that go on the frame rail that they go on the bottom of the frame rail like so, and these go in here like so. Or I got it upside down, but you guys get the picture. I'll show you too when I get it up there, but that goes in there like that. That's gonna go, I don't know how the heck this goes. Oh, it goes like that. So it's got this that welds along the bottom, and then you can run weld on the inside also. So I'm going to bolt the brackets that go to the frame onto the cross member like I was just showing you, and then I'm going to take the cross member and bolt it to the transmission mount on the transmission that's already up in there. We'll get it set in place, and if we got to clamp it or whatever, and then we'll bust the welder out. And I'm probably not gonna completely weld it. I'll probably just put some good solid tacks on it, because if I can, when I pull the motor and tranny back out, I'll have a lot more room to get in there and get really good welds on it. So I'll probably just put welds on it that will hold it for now, good decent welds that'll hold it for now, and then when the motor and trans are back out, then I'll go ahead and weld it all up and clean everything and paint everything and all that like I mentioned before. But I'm gonna get this bolted together. The Scout sits pretty high, so I think I'm gonna be able to get a camera underneath there for you guys. I'm gonna try, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing under there, and we'll get this tranny mount put in. All right, doing my best here, guys. Hopefully you can see what's going on. I'm sorry if you can't, but we got our tranny cross member here, and I got our brackets on it. What I'm gonna do is bring it up here and hang it on. Maybe. There we go. Hang it on our trans mount. Come on. There we go. Alright, we got that hanging from there. We got our brackets inside the frame rail like we need them. And these holes are oblonged a little bit so they can, you know, slide back and forth so it sits tight in the frame. But I'm going to go out there and jack the cherry picker up, and it should suck this all the way up where it needs to go. If you guys could tell me when it gets to that point, I'd really appreciate it. But I'm going to get out there, do that. We'll get that all the way up where it needs to go. I'll clean it up a little bit, put some weld on it, and I'll say that that'll be progress. Watch that for me, and I'll be right back. How's it looking? Did it work? Yeah, I'd say we can go with that. This side, I need to modify just a little bit, which is no big deal. But we're at a point where we can put some weld on here. I'm going to, I'm not going up all the way. I'm going to get a clamp and clamp this, and then I'll probably turn the camera off for a few minutes while I do all the grinding and stuff, because I don't want my camera getting blasted. So I'll probably move it out of the way. So I'll grind this clean where I can weld on it. I'll clamp all this tight up on there, and then we'll hammer away at some welding. So I'm going to get that stuff done. I'll bring you guys back, show you what it looks like, and then get some weld on it. Got that all clamped in place. I'm happy with the way they're sitting. They're tied up against the frame on the bottom and the inside. I'm way too hot to put my welding coat on, so I'm about to burn the crap out of myself. But like I said, we're just laying a couple beads on here just to hold this. And yeah, whatever I was saying, you get it. So lay a couple beads on it to hold it. We'll weld it up later. But hopefully, I'm probably going to be right in front of you guys while I do this, but hopefully you can see something. Put a little bit more weld on there than I was going to. I went ahead and welded the verticals on front and back on both sides, and that ain't going nowhere. So I'm gonna get us out of here, and let's go take the cherry picker off and see if the tranny slams done it. Alright, here goes nothing. I'm going to drop the cherry picker, see if we still have an engine and trans in our Scout. Oh man, I was actually picking up on the Scout. But she's down, all holding its own weight. Tranny cross member looks good. Motor mounts look good. Like I said before, I don't usually do kits. But I'm telling you right now, this is a really nice kit. And if anybody from Anything Scout catches wind of this video, or if you know anybody from Anything Scout, share it with them please. But you guys do an excellent job. The instructions are on point, and the parts all fit great. Everything goes together well. Very impressed with this kit. So if you guys are watching this video because you want to LS swap a Scout, look up anything Scout online, and they literally have everything you need. Once again, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but if they like this video and want to, guys, give me a shout. But yeah, I mean, exhaust clears good, or there's plenty of room where the headers dump out for exhaust. Everything's good. They just put a lot of thought into it. I'm gonna quit blabbing about it. I'm gonna clean some stuff up. I'll grab the other camera, bring you guys over here, and show you the motor and Tran sitting in there on its own one more time. And I think that might be the end of this one. All right, like I just got done telling you 2 seconds ago for you guys, motor and tranny are in on their mounts, holding their own weight, all that stuff. And it's really, really amazing how good everything works. So here it is again, and get you guys more up close. There's our mounts. Everything has clearance. Everything is good. Look back down in there, you see the tranny cross member. And look back in there, you might be able to see where I got it all welded up. Good. Scout has an LS 6L80 sitting in it. I had a lot of fun making this video. Pretty cool. I love my square body stuff, but it's cool to do something different every once in a while. And this Scout's definitely something different, but it is far from done. There will be plenty more videos on the Scout. So if you like the Scout content, you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the button, because there will be a lot more. Now, as far as t-shirt giveaways go, I told you at the beginning of the video that we're going to be doing another t-shirt giveaway on this video. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you leave a comment, because that's how you win a t-shirt. That being said, the winner of the t-shirt from the last video is Dan Hoy. Dan Hoy. So if you're Dan Hoy, go down in the description. My email's there. Send me an email. Tell me your size. Give me your address. And I'll ship a shirt out to you. If you don't know how to email, try Messenger on Facebook or Instagram. You can do that too. Either way, get me your size, get me your address, I'll get you a shirt. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, there'll be many more. I'm trying to do videos every Tuesday and Thursday now, but I'm not gonna guarantee that that's gonna continue to happen. So far, so good. We'll see how it goes. I really had to push to get this video out today. This is a Thursday video. Really had to push to get it out today. It would have been really easy to just go home and say it's gonna be a Friday video this week, but I don't like posting videos on Mondays. I don't like posting videos on Fridays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are good, and I'll do what I gotta do to give y'all something to watch. So if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.